Hey guys, how's it going? So, I want to report to you guys today on a story from the town of White Settlement, Texas. And as many of you probably already know, there was a tragic event that occurred in a church there where a bad, evil person came into the church during the service right before communion. And he pulled out a shotgun and quickly started firing upon people in the church, swiftly killing 2 people. Now, as immediate as he pulled out the shotgun, again, shooting at innocent, God-loving people that were just there to worship, spend time with their family and friends, and get closer to God, just as he killed 2 people. One of the volunteer church security people, just a regular parishioner that had training with a gun, was good with a gun, and had volunteered to help keep his fellow people safe, pulled out his pistol, returned fire on the bad guy, and within 6 seconds of this whole event starting, had the bad guy dead on the floor, and the shooting was over. Now look, this is a very tragic incident. My heart goes out and my prayers to all of the people that were affected by this, the loved ones, the family members, all the parishioners of this church. God bless you people, and I hope you guys have the strength to cope with your losses. And look, there's never anything good that happens out of an incident like this, but here's the silver lining, if you will. The fact that this evil, despicable, wretched human being was willing to take as many lives, presumably, as he could, but was stopped short very swiftly by a good guy with a gun. And I would note what I said earlier, within 6 seconds. And every time there's some kind of incident involving a shooting and a firearm, the other side, the people that want to take our guns away, take our liberty away, they're very quick to say, well, if we can just do something about these guns, if we can get these guns off the street. They've now gone as far as to say with certain types of rifles, we want to confiscate them, take them away, turn them all in. That's the answer, and that's usually what you hear in the news. And you don't hear this side of it that I'm about to report to you, and I think it's only fair that, both sides are represented, because it's just not fair. And I'm getting sick and tired of people saying that it's only bad people with guns that use them, and that guns themselves are some bad item. Look, guns are inanimate objects. They're neither good nor are they evil. However, the person with the gun in their hand can either impose evil upon people if they're an evil, nasty person, or they can do good. And they can protect people, and they can save lives. And too often, all we hear is that guns only take lives, and there's only bad that can become of guns. But this incident that just happened today is yet another story of many stories. This is just the one right now, and I just want to talk about this, that proves to anyone that even has an inkling of common sense, they like to use the word common sense, or even has an inkling of a brain cell to comprehend what happened today. A good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun. And yes, it's tragic that 2 people died, but this crazed maniac killer was within seconds of sweeping the shotgun into the crowd of people in the pews, the parishioners, and could have and most inevitably would have killed many, many more people. How many? Well, we don't know, and it's a good thing we don't know, because it was stopped. It was thwarted almost instantly. Now look, we have police officers. Many of them are great people. Many of them are awesome. They're professionals, and they respond as quickly as they can to these type of incidences. There is not one police department in this world that could have responded to this in 6 seconds. And I think we would all agree on that, and even the best police officers would agree with me on this, that the police can't be expected to respond to any given place in 6 seconds. But there was a good guy with a gun there, ready to go. He was calm, he was cool, he was collected. His marksmanship was completely impeccable, meaning he had been training. Obviously, this person had been training, was very, very good with his pistol, had probably shot thousands of rounds, because under the adrenaline and the pressure of this situation, and the rather far shot he had to take with that pistol, this man was good with his defensive tool. And thank God that he was. And for the 250 people in that church are thanking God right now that this brave man not only had a gun, but had the cognition to use it, and was actually had the marksmanship to make that one shot and instantly stop this bad guy. Now, we have other people on the other side saying you should be limited on how much ammunition you can buy. Well, good thing this brave security person, volunteer security person, wasn't limited on his ammo, because no doubt he was well practiced and well versed. We also say You know, the other side also says if you just take guns away and there's just less of them on the street. That's just not true. And you know what else was very encouraging? That after this one man stopped this bad, evil person, the shooter, as soon as he stopped him, killed him dead, I could see at least 3, if not maybe 4 or 5 in the video footage, other parishioners that immediately came up with their pistols in the ready, safe position, and they closed in on the person, not knowing if he was dead or not, because sometimes someone could be dropped to the ground and come back up shooting again. So there were at least 4 to 6 people that I could see, total, that instantly drew their guns, very instinctively, politely, calmly, coolly, collected, approached the bad guy. And that's how it should be. And this completely and utterly proves, yet again, that restricting guns isn't going to save any lives. You can look throughout the United States. The cities with the highest crime rates, the states with the highest crime rates already have the most restrictive gun control laws, and they don't stop crime. They don't even hinder it. They actually cause more death. Because there's this big misconception that's being passed around that, again, that guns take lives. And guns actually save lives. And I'm going to go over some statistics with you guys. And these aren't going to be my statistics. These aren't statistics from a pro-gun group, anything like that. I'm going to give you some statistics from the FBI and the CDC that literally prove. Now, before I do that, don't forget, just a couple months ago, there was a lady that her husband was getting beaten to death by 2 armed thugs. Their child was in the house. Their unborn baby was still in her belly. She actually had the attitude, the determination, and the skill set to go get an AR-15. An AR-15 like this. And she saved her husband. She saved her daughter. And she saved her unborn baby. And you go to my gun rights playlist and you can see the video I did on that. We also had Stephen Williford, another Texas church shooting. Saved many, many lives, left his house, ran out of his house with an AR-15, ran right into the hail of bullets, killed the bad guy, the crazy psychopath. These are stories that I want to mention to you guys because the main news, mainstream quote-unquote news, they like you to forget about this. And they like to portray this narrative. And too many people I see, regular everyday people, when I put out a gun rights video, they come back and say, well, you don't want more laws? You don't think these laws could save lives? Look. Here's the problem. When you take firearms away from good people, then only bad people have firearms. Because good people don't generally need laws, and bad people generally don't follow laws. And any law only disarms the good, law-abiding people. It doesn't disarm criminals. See, when people say we need to take guns away to make it illegal to kill people, I don't know if they're willfully ignorant or if they're just not that smart, but it must be one of the two. Because last time I checked, murder is already illegal in every state of this country, in every city, county, and township. So next time someone says, well, we should take guns away and it should be illegal to use a gun because someone could get killed with it, just remind them that murder has already been illegal in this country since its inception and always will be, as it should be illegal, right? So the part they're not telling you about is this. Look, yes, the world's a dangerous place. There's crazy people everywhere. And police, when seconds matter, are usually only minutes away. And that it's up to you to protect yourself and your family. And yes, there's lots of violence. There's violent people. But taking away these modern sporting rifles, the most popular rifle in the United States, the AR-15, that doesn't approach any real problems we have because these firearms aren't actually the problem. Because like I said earlier, guns are inanimate objects. But hypothetically, to go down these other sides road, let's go down there for a second and prove them wrong on another account. They say, well, these are the tools of the trade that are used most commonly. Rifles that look like this. And they're actually patently false. And I have statistics, again, not my statistics, but statistics to prove that they're wrong. So we had the brave soul today that saved people with a firearm. And I would note, the bad guy, by the way, he was using a shotgun. And that's the gun that all the gun grabbers say they're still fine with. We want you to turn in guns that look like this. We want you to turn in certain size magazines, turn all this in. But we're fine with a shotgun because we're all hunters and blah, 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 blah. There was a shotgun used today, so that kind of dispels their narrative. But there's concrete facts that also do the same thing. So just a couple months ago in October, the FBI's annual crime report came out. It's always about a year behind, so we'll get the one for 2019 at the end of 2020. So this is the most current set of data that the FBI has, okay? And they're basically talking about different violent crimes, what type of instruments are used in these crimes. Well, in 2018, there were 1,515 deaths from knives and other sharp cutting instruments. 1,515. Compared to 297 deaths from rifles. Now, when they say rifles, I want to note and tell the whole story in all transparency. They don't just mean rifles that look like this, okay? They're not counting rifles that just look like this. In that 297, that's all rifles, which would literally include rifles that look like this, okay? So, all rifles, total. 297, compared to over 1,500 with sharp cutting instruments. Now, that's not it. There's a lot more to it than that. I would also note that in 2018, 443 people were killed with instruments such as a hammer. Something like this, a hammer. Screwdrivers. Blunt objects. Tools and blunt objects killed 443 people in the United States, compared to 297 that were killed by all types of rifles combined. I would also note that in the same year, 2018, 672 deaths were from fists, feet, and other personal body part weapons. 300 total, less than 300, 297 from all types of rifles. 672 from fists and feet. Now, when you add up fists and feet and screwdrivers and hammers, and then we also add in knives, we end up where we have about 5 times, no, more than that, about 8 or 9 times more people killed with all those things than we do any type of rifle total. And this includes your lever actions, your bolt actions, your single shots, your World War II, your World War I, antiques, all of them combined. So you are 2 times more likely in this country to die from fists and feet, over 2 times more, than you are from any rifle. And they want to ban the rifle? They want to ban the tools of liberty that are not only here to protect our families, like that brave woman in Florida protected her husband, her child, and her unborn child. They want to take that from her because fists and feet are more than 2 times more dangerous. Knives, 5 times more dangerous. More likely that somebody would die from them, in other words. Hammers, screwdrivers, hand tools, things like that, 1.5 times more likely to cause death in this country. And they want to come after the category of weapon that actually takes the least amount of lives when used by bad people and saves the most lives with good people. Now, I'll make another note here. We have over 200,000 cases each year that we know of, because many go unreported, of women protecting themselves from some type of rape or sexual assault by using a weapon, a firearm, to defend themselves. 200,000. 200,000 souls whose lives won't be negatively altered the rest of their life. Because this is a terrible, terrible thing that can happen to a woman. Like, can it get even worse than that? I don't even know what would be worse between murder and rape. They're both just so bad, you don't even want to think about either of them. Over 200,000 women protect themselves from such assaults each year with firearms. You know, the other side claims to be pro-women. They want women to be sexually assaulted by a criminal that may come up with them with a hammer when the woman can carry a pistol, concealed, open, or otherwise, on her person, in her purse, however she feels comfortable, and stop this person literally dead in their tracks, if that's required, justified. You know what I'm saying? No. We need to stand up for all the women in this country. And I want to see more women getting involved in gun rights. So many women are pro-gun, and it used to be that it was only, white men that were pro-gun. That's just not the case anymore, and we all need to get together. So many people of so many different colors, regular viewers of my stream, and they're some of the best, nicest, most law-abiding people. I need you guys to get involved. Women, get involved. You're protecting yourselves with firearms way more than what the mainstream media wants to cover. It's not just a crotchety 75-year-old white dude that's in the NRA that believes in gun rights. All good people believe in gun rights. And guns are used not just to protect the rich and the wealthy. Guns are used to protect the least of us. Poor, working class people like me and you. A lot of you live in rough neighborhoods and don't make a lot of money. And that's why you need to carry and be protected all the more. And I'm tired of the mainstream media perpetuating this thing that we need to take guns from people. Take? What do they mean take? First of all, the government. No level of government ever gave us our right to keep and bear arms. Those rights were endowed on us by our Creator. They were given to us by God. And they were just simply acknowledged as such in the Bill of Rights. The government has never, ever given us these rights. Therefore, they cannot take them away. It's estimated that, and it's so hard to count this again because many things go unreported, but there's over 1 million defensive uses with a firearm every year in this country by good people that are protecting themselves from irreparable harm, sexual abuse, murder, terrible things by terrible, terrible people that don't just use guns, by the way, as these statistics prove. They use fists, feet, hammers, screwdrivers, all sorts of things. And here's the problem. They take away all the rifles. If they get what they want, and you and you and you and all of us let them get by with it, which we're not gonna, by the way. These laws are unconstitutional, and I suggest that even if they do pass, none of you comply. But it's better to stop it. Sometimes an ounce of prevention can equal a pound of cure. We have to stop these laws before they take effect, because it's so much harder to get something back, and it's so much easier to fight now before the government takes away any more liberty and rights to self-preservation, protection, pursuit of happiness. Just these fundamental things that we all want, that's guaranteed to us, that will not be infringed upon by our founding fathers, that were given to us by God. And they want to take from us? They want to take something they never gave to us? They want to buy them back? They never owned them. I didn't buy any gun from the government. Did you guys? I can't sell you back something that I never bought from you. And quite frankly, it's not for sale. So just remember that next time people talk about how many lives guns have taken. And just remember, when they use the statistic for how many gun deaths there are in each year, they're also including suicide, which is very tragic. And we need to do a lot to help suicide prevention. And many, many gun owners and pro-gun people and gun rights groups are working to help suicide prevention. And it's a topic I'm passionate about, because I lost one of my best friends to suicide. So how dare these people say that we don't care? We care the most. We care about life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and protecting good people. But they include suicide, which is a non-violent crime. It doesn't hurt anybody except for the person that does it. And I wish people would stop committing suicide. And I'm going to do everything I can to try to get people where they don't feel so hopeless and they'll stop doing it. But of these gun deaths each year that are reported, did you know that 6 in 10 of them are actually from suicide? While 37% were actually using firearms? And this comes from the CDC. Again, the government. The CDC is by no means a pro-gun group, but according to the CDC in 2017, 6 in 10 gun-related deaths were suicides, while 37% were murders, and the other 3% were accidents, officer-involved law enforcement shootings, and then a very few were undetermined circumstances. So no, all of these numbers that they show up, they're just not true. There's way more people saving lives and taking lives with guns, and way over half of them are people committing suicide, which is a problem that we need to help these people. But it has nothing to do with gun violence or that these inanimate tools are something bad. These protect innocent women, the single mother, the elderly, the able-bodied man like me. It protects all of us equally. That's the thing. Lady Justice wears a blindfold and carries a sword in one hand and a set of scales in the other. She's blind. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor or if you're black or you're white. It doesn't matter. All of us have the same equal rights. Everybody does, especially the least of us. So these elitists, tell them no. You never gave us these rights. You can't take them away. And if you try, I will not comply. You guys know what I'm saying? This has to stop. And in conclusion here, again, are these people just willingly ignorant, or are they just that stupid? None other than Beto O'Rourke. He put out a tweet today and said, so saddened to hear about another church shooting in Texas. This one in White Settlement, near Fort Worth. Clearly what we are doing in Texas, what we are doing in this country when it comes to guns, is not working. Yeah, Mr. O'Rourke, your ideas are the ones that are not working. Because by your tweet here, I'm going to assume, and I'm going to opine that it must mean the following. You said it wasn't working? That a volunteer parishioner pulled out his gun and stopped the shooting in 6 seconds? And saved, who knows, possibly up to 250 remaining people that were in there? That's not working? You wanted everyone to be disarmed? So what? He could shoot all of them? How many did you want to die, Mr. O'Rourke? What does this tweet mean? Now, he's not going to read this, guys. He doesn't respond to peasants like me. But that's the questions I would ask him. What does he mean it didn't work? Of course it worked. Good people with a gun today stopped a bad person with a gun, saved many lives, and it's happened over and over and over again. And as long as we stand up, don't let them take our rights, don't let them take our guns, it will continue to be that the vast majority of people, like 100 times more likely that a gun will save somebody than it will take a life. And just remember that, and don't give in. Don't take an inch. Don't believe their rhetoric. It's just not true. I gave you stats to prove them otherwise. Examples of other lives that were saved. Go watch my video about that Florida woman that I put out. I'm going to put it at the end of this video here. An armed woman saved her family. What a hero she was. What a hero this man is today. What a hero Stephen Willeford was in Texas. These are heroes. And I hope they're being put up as heroes by the mainstream media. But just in case they aren't, I'm going to call them exactly what they are. Alright guys. Thanks for watching. And have a good one.